This is Eric Campbell. You can find me at ericcampbell.com.
This is Brian Walker with Image Armor Pretreatment and Inks.
Johnny Shell with SGIA.
Scott Fresner with T-Biz and Network International.
And you're listening to Two Regular Guys
Podcast
Hosted by Terry Combs
and Aaron Montgomery.
If you're not listening, you're missing out.
All right, welcome to the show, everyone. It's Friday, April 20th, 2018. I'm Terry Combs with Equipment Zone. You can also find me at terrycombs.com. And Aaron, I'm starting this show like a new guy. It's only been 6 years.
Yeah, you should really practice up there, Terry. But I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at aaronmontgomery.info. Today, I'm super excited to welcome in a friend of mine. Cheryl Kuchek is going to join us today, and she's going to talk to us about toner transfers, paper selection, her Facebook group, all sorts of fun stuff. She's the founder and administrator of several very large Facebook groups out there and has tons of knowledge, and we're going to try to extract some from her today. So she's awesome, and I can't wait to talk to her, Terry.
Me as well. It sounds like it's going to be a great show. But Aaron, a couple of news items, and I'm sure that a lot of our listeners know a good friend of the show and recent guest, Tom Round from Envision Screen Printing and Embroidery. He was with us just a couple of weeks ago. He qualified for and just participated in the Boston Marathon. So, you know, Aaron, knowing that Tom never, ever stops, I am in no way surprised that he's in the Boston Marathon.
Yeah, I don't think the guy sleeps, but yeah, he posted something on Facebook, and I spent a little time living in Boston, so I had to reply with wicked pissa. It's a Boston thing, so don't worry about it.
Everybody in Boston right now is chuckling here.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Another real quick point, Aaron, as I just got back from the MBM show in Sacramento, and I had never been to Sacramento before, and surprisingly, all the travels that I do that I'd never been there. But man, what a great location! Really, really nice convention center, super close to hotels and restaurants. In fact, we at Equipment Zone, we stayed at a converted over mansion that had 16 bedrooms, and all that whole street were just mansion after mansion, you know, from the late 1800s. So super cool. I wasn't sure if it was haunted or not, but
hey, you like that stuff anyhow. You're into that Walking Dead.
I do indeed. Yeah. But the downtown area actually reminded me of Austin, and I was telling somebody else there, and they were like, yeah, it really is like that. And because downtown Austin's full of hipsters like my son Chris, and he thrives in that. But as for the show, it was really interesting. I really felt like it was one of those shows where, and I talked to other vendors about this as well, as if we were introducing ourselves and introducing our product line to a whole new audience. And I thought, gosh, you guys aren't that far away from Long Beach. And I was talking to one of the attendees, and he said, well, getting from Sacramento to Long Beach is not an easy task. And I thought, oh gosh, I didn't even think about the fact you've got to go by LA to get there. So, good idea on the part of the folks at NBM and in placing a show at a place like Sacramento. And in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing the Portland show. And I know they've done that show once before, but it'll be new for me. So excited to do that as well. But Aaron, any news items for you?
Portland sounds interesting for you, Terry. Isn't everything weird there? So you're going to fit right in.
Just like Austin, yeah. I'm thinking I should watch some episodes of Portlandia so I know how to order coffee, because my understanding is everybody in Portland is a big coffee snob.
Got it.
So if they see me putting like creamer in my coffee, I'll be shunned.
Awesome. Well, Terry, for me, one quick shout out, and I'm going to probably, for those of you watching on the video portion, let me see if I can show it here. I've got a shirt that says Think, Speak. What's it say?
No, Action Speaks Louder.
Action Speaks Louder. Sorry, I was reading it backwards, and I just got it. So I saw it on Instagram, and they actually sent me an extra shirt here, another shirt that, see if I can get this in front of the camera and still.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So anyhow, I just wanted to give him a shout out because I saw him on Instagram, and this gentleman was actually in one of my seminars, and that's how I started following him on Instagram. And it's Frame of Mind Inc. On Instagram, and great guy and really working hard to get a product line out there, and it's inspirational T-shirts. So I love it, and so I wanted to give him a shout out. Really, really cool stuff. And
hey, for all the art folks out there, I love the fact that the word "finish" was in checkerboard, like a flag at the finish line. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll post some photos of the shirts and stuff on my Instagram feed here soon, and we'll share them on the Two Regular Guys side. But just want to give a shout out to him. Again, it's Frame of Mind Inc. INK on Instagram. And then Terry, the other news piece that I wanted to share with everybody, I'm not sure if this was for public consumption, but hey, it was in an email, so I'm going to make it public because I think
it came across the internet. It must be okay.
Yeah, it's got to be right. So ISS in Printed Sportswear Show are accepting presentation proposals until Friday, April 27th. So if you want to be a speaker there, or at least have an opportunity to be a speaker there for 2019, they have some educational program improvements. By popular demand, they will be introducing shorter workshops and pre-show sessions to accommodate more options for attendees. They're requesting more submissions for workshops and sessions. We'll put a link up on our show notes to where to do that. And also, if you have questions, contact Sydney Jacoby, who's the conference manager. And again, we'll have a link to that in our show notes. So.
Hey, Aaron, just a little plug for those guys, because they're really making an effort to kind of change things up. And when at the bigger shows, they're doing the shop talk, like a TED talk, and 15 to 20 minutes. And I did one of those, and it was in Atlantic City, and it was awesome. I had a big crowd of people around and lots of really great questions. So, but kind of a neat idea, just a 20-minute, here's a concept. And so I know you were laughing when I was telling you I was going to do it, that I couldn't introduce myself in 20 minutes, but I pulled it off. I might have gone 30 minutes. I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right. Well, Terry, so stay tuned to the end for 5 things. I'm going to be talking about being a great networker. I don't know if that's actually even a word, but do networking well. How about that?
You could coin that phrase, and
there we go.
Your name will be
a great networker.
right there in the dictionary with your name next to it. Hey, well, thanks for everybody listening. We are so pleased to bring this weekly show to you since February 2013. This is our 6th season, and we always try to avoid rants and lectures and selling. And we would love for you to visit our webpage, which is 2 regularguys.com. Check out all the show notes from previous podcasts, and whenever anybody mentions a link or some group they belong to, you can find it all right there and be able to get right to it. We are always looking for suggestions for future shows, and you can do that through our Contact Us page on our website, 2regularguys.com, and through all of our social media, where you can always find us at 2 Regular Guys. If you are catching the live video via Facebook Live, we would love to hear your comments, insights, questions, suggestions about today's topic all during the show, and we'll try to bring up as many of those as we can. But Aaron, before we dive in,
some people saying hi to us already. So
perfect.
Hi to everybody this morning. We've got Chuck and Jeanette and Martha and Jan and all sorts of great folks in there already. So going to be a great day.
But anyway, before we dive in, Aaron, let's recognize our title sponsor for 2018, the Specialty Graphic Imaging Association, SGIA.
Yeah, they've been busy on the other side of their house with some of the printed synopsis and FP3 and packaging and stuff like that. So we're still working with them to check out what they're going to be presenting for the garment folks here. But I would suggest just getting on over to sgia.org and /garments and checking out their website. They've always got great stuff going on over there and new things coming. So we appreciate their support of the show.
And, Aaron, you and I just recorded Marshall Atkinson's podcast. It won't be on for a couple of months. But that was the topic of conversation, SGA's ThreadX and how great it was, and looking forward to doing that again next year as well. So, but Aaron, without further ado, let's please welcome in live to the show Cheryl Kuchek. With over 10 years experience in the industry, Cheryl is the owner of Just My Imagination Designs Incorporated and founder of the Facebook groups Sublimation, Oki, Eye Color, and Beyond, and also Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond. She hosts a community of digital decorators and serves as a resource to grow their businesses through weekly Facebook Live sessions, webinars, vendor discounts, and more. Cheryl, welcome into the show.
Thank you for having me. This is
Awesome.
such a pleasure.
Yeah, it's great to have you, Cheryl, and thanks for jumping through all of our hoops to be here today. We make it a little entertaining.
No. It was on me.
Well, that's all right. So, Cheryl, let's dive in because we've got a ton of great questions for you, and we know you've got a ton of great information to share with everybody. So, start us off with a little bit of a history of the groups. When did you start them? Why? And what are they like today compared to where you started with them years ago?
Well, I will never forget. First off, I was in a very large. This is probably 10 years ago. I was in a very large vinyl group, and I will never forget the first time I ever posted something. I had people not only copy me, but then they were also so degrading and demeaning, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is horrible," So then you don't ever want to post, So I decided I would start a vinyl group, a crafters group, and so I started that. And one day, I'm not sure at what point, maybe a year later, somebody had posted something that they did with sublimation, and I was like, "Oh my God, what is that? Where did you get that? I have to do that." So I bought every single thing that week. I was like, I had to have it. So then as I was passionate about it, after the first press, I was like, "Oh my God," So anyway, then I started posting it in the other group, and they were like, this doesn't really belong in here. So then I started the first sublimation group.
Awesome.
Anyway, so it was exciting, and there was 10 of us, and only 2 of us were doing sublimation at the time. And look at where we are today. I mean, there's a plethora of people, and it's being literally flooded. The industry is, and it's awesome. It's really we have so many now. We new Facebook groups. Every day I look, and there's probably 10 more that popped up for sublimation. It's great, though, everybody's got a little bit of this and that to share. So
sure, absolutely. So quite a bit different than 10 years ago then, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my. Well, there was so few doing it, and there was so few that even knew what it was. So, it's really changed. The industry has just grown leaps and bounds, So
let me get this straight. The internet and social media works. You went out that week and bought an entire setup.
I did. And it was funny because the one thing the girl said to me, she said, "My only regret is that I didn't get the bigger printer." So I'm like, well, then I'm getting the bigger printer.
There we go.
Yeah.
Not only am I buying, I'm buying the best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't want to have that regret, I don't want that. Yeah. Yeah, well, so the internet works, for sure.
Awesome. Everybody will be glad to hear that.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Cheryl, one of the groups you just mentioned, Sublimation, Oki, Eye Color, and Beyond. Let's talk a bit about that group specifically. What are some of the hot topics that you're seeing in the group currently?
Well, it always goes back to this. People get into sublimation, and then they realize they can't print on cotton, and it's a big downer. A lot of these folks have come from the vinyl world. They're used to the cotton. Their customers are used to the cotton. So they want to be able to do cotton, and they want to be able to do dark T-shirts. So that leaves sublimation out. So hence we have the Oki Eye Color white toner printers. And actually, Aaron Montgomery is the one who introduced me.
Oh boy, so it's my fault.
Oh, okay. So now the internet works, social media works. thanks to Aaron Montgomery. Look at that.
Oh, man.
That's
Put that
right.
on my-
Yeah.
Get dropped from the show. It's just going to be regular guy. Regular guy who owns the internet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so Cheryl, I know you and I, like you just said, I'm the cause of your pain probably here, but but we've known each other obviously for a long time, and I know you have lots of great hands-on experience with all this stuff too outside of the group. I know you make all this stuff, and like you said, you get the equipment, you test it, you check it out, you make sure that what you're talking about is something that people can actually use to make a living with. So, with all this experience, maybe give us one or two tips that you would share with an absolute newbie if they came to you looking for advice.
Okay, probably the first thing that I would say to somebody, first off, they're a lot more expensive. I hate to say a lot more, but it's a lot more expensive than a white toner we're talking about.
Yeah.
iColor OP. It's a lot more than a sublimation printer.
Yeah.
So people think like sublimation that they start immediately, they print, they press, and voila, magic happens.
Yeah.
It's not that way with the toner laser printers because of the papers. So you have different papers and different processes, and people have a really hard time with that because they're so used to the sublimation. I find it much easier to that people that don't have sublimation experience, that go into the iColor or OP first, have a much easier time because they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
They're not comparing it.
Gotcha.
So it makes a really, really big difference. So what I would tell people, the first thing, and I always tell them, is you have to be patient with the learning curve because there is a learning curve. There's different times, different temps, different peels, warm, cold, hot peel. And then you have different substrates that you can do, like acrylic. And I'm going to show you an example here.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we can
Let's
see that.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
okay. So this is on a clear piece of acrylic that I cut out. And it is... this is with the iColor, and it's underprinting. And I love this because it actually looks like glass. If you could see it in person, let's see if I can.
Yeah, here, I'll put it as big as we can get it there. Awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
It literally looks like glass. It's so beautiful. This, to me, is one of the benefits to me of having a toner printer.
And for our audio listeners, it looked like it's a cutout of a onesie, right?
Yes, it was a baby onesie that's an ornament that I made as an ornament.
Cool.
And the interesting thing about this is you can't scratch this off. I mean, this is on there. And I'm not sure if it's because it was literally infused with the heat of it, but this thing is amazing. And with this, the white was laid down first, and then the colors on top, versus it, like an Oki where it's the colors and then the white on top for reverse printing.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I was, and Aaron, you can probably collaborate with this. But,
absolutely.
I was known as the hard surface queen because anything that I could get to print and press.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's a bottle with a ship on it, an old sailing ship. Yeah. Pirate ship almost. That's awesome.
Really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that you can do. Wood. Here's one that I did.
Wow. Okay. Got a hardboard kind of door hanger and
door hanger, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So audio folks, you definitely got to get over to check out the Facebook Live feed and see these things, and we'll also maybe get Cheryl to send us a couple of photos that we can post on some of our social media too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Eagle on hardboard. Awesome.
Yeah.
All awesome stuff.
It presses so beautifully. This was actually done with the CMYK, so there was no white in that. So there's so much you can do with both of them, and but I think the majority of people that get into it for t-shirts. They want to do the t-shirts because it's their industry.
Yeah.
And I would say that there are some what do I want to say? Good, better, and best papers to use.
Okay,
And
we're gonna get to that. So we're gonna get that out of you too. So keep that good information coming.
All right. Well, Cheryl, for the more advanced transfer producers out there, what tools and or tricks do they need to have in their tool belts to take them to the next level?
Probably the most important essential tool is a good heat press. If you don't have a good heat press, you will, a lot of them have cold spots, the unbranded ones, they have cold spots. You can't get away with that with a heat transfer. It doesn't work. That's really probably the most essential tool to me is that. And then I would say patience. You got to have patience to learn these processes. But once you get them, you have them. And it is an awesome process to me. Again, depending on the papers that you use.
Yeah, totally. That's like I said, patience is a big one. Those folks that go out there and say, "Okay, I've got this job. Now I'm going to go buy this equipment and try to do that." They're going to struggle with that because, like you said, there's a little bit of learning curve. So
I was just going to say, Cheryl, that the folks who listen to us all the time I'm sitting there going, I'll bet those guys told her to say that about the heat press because we just preach about good heat presses all the time.
Well, the truth is I do too, because I deal with the people who don't have a good heat press and they want to know why stuff isn't working. And unfortunately, actually, I just wrote a little article for A&E on having a good heat press, and I sent in a picture showing the difference between one where with a mouse pad, and you can see the difference in how vibrant one is with a good heat press and one without. So it's really vital for any process, I believe. A lot of them were able to get it because of vinyl, because vinyl could lay down easily with, just a cheap heat press. That's not the case with this. So, no, they didn't tell me to say it.
I always talk to people about heat presses, and one of the things is I'll say, if they're having a problem, I'll say, well, what kind of heat press do you have? And the answer is something like, it's orange. I have an orange heat press. Right. Okay, then I already know what the problem is.
Right, exactly. And people have a really hard time with that because they say, oh my God, $1,500 for a heat press. Oh my God, $2,000. But it is worth every single penny. Yeah. It will be one of the best investments that you make if you believe enough in yourself and your business. You want to have that for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I mean, we've talked about that a lot on this show, Cheryl. So it feels good to be have somebody back us up here. So and we've got some great comments coming in the Facebook group too. Jan says good heat press is essential. Eric Campbell says, listen about those presses. If you want a repeatable quality outcome, you must have an even quality heat press. So we're turning the masses here, everybody. Good job. Thanks, Cheryl. All right. Well, so Cheryl, talk to me a little bit about the misconceptions that maybe you've heard out there. What, as we've talked on this show, not everything on the internet is true. I am not a French supermodel. And just like the Guy Good commercial says.
No, you're kidding me. Aaron, what a letdown.
But no. So what are some myths that maybe you'd like to dispel?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you really want me to go there. If I have the liberty, I'm gonna do it.
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, as you well know, Aaron, I'm intimately acquainted with Oki, and intimately acquainted with Uninet Imaging, the eye color, and I have owned the 920, the 711, the 831 TS. So when and this is actually kind of a funny story, but I was contacted by somebody about the Uninet eye color, and I'm like, I don't even want to hear anything about it. I mean, I love my Oki. I am a diehard Oki girl. It is an awesome machine, you know. So they kept knocking at the door, and anyway, they said, "Listen, if you could just give me 5 minutes of your time." So I said, "Okay." So it was a Friday afternoon, and I said, "Yeah, I can spare 5 minutes." So I get on the phone, and he starts telling me the stuff that the eye color could do. You know, it's CMYK, meaning that it prints a true black and white, and it had fluorescent toners that you could upgrade, and anyway, all the stuff he was saying, I'm like, oh my God, if this is really true, I'm in trouble. I mean, there goes money, out the door. So anyway, so that was a Friday, and I made an appointment with him for a Tuesday. Let me tell you, I was so giddy when I got off the phone. I'm dreaming about it the whole weekend, like, oh my God, why did I wait till Tuesday? Why didn't I say Monday? And they just happened to be in my backyard. I mean, literally, they were, 25 minutes away from me. So I drove over to their facility, and oh my God, it was amazing. It was exactly what he said. To me, the magic, one of the biggest things for me, again, as you know, I'm a hard surface girl. So the big thing for me was the underprinting of white. That in Oki, the bottom line, it takes 5 printers to do what an eye color can do. It takes 5 Okis to do it. And so I said, wow, this is amazing. I got to have this printer. So of course, they loaded it up in my car. I mean, I believe it was that day. Well, maybe not. It was a couple of days later, but I had to figure out how to get it. Like my usual. So anyway, I got it, and I was blown away. And I have, I'm one of those people that tell you like it is, black and white, whether you like it or not. And anyway, so this is that. Am I in the camera?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is the underprinting of white. And anyway, so, I'm happy going along telling people that, hey, and now there's another option here, and it's called the eye color. Okay. Well, soon the rumors started flying by some not so ethical people, will say, of, oh, your eye color is going to blow up. Oh, it wasn't meant for that, and it's going to blow up. I'm like, blow up? Like
Literally?
blow up? Like, yeah. Like seriously, it's going to blow up? And they said, well, the toner is going to blow up in your printer. And, you can't be swapping them out, and you can't be doing this. And I said, really? Well, I've been doing it now for 3 years. So exactly when is it going to blow up? Because it hasn't done that yet. Yeah. So anyway, so my great disappointment is that there would be so much negativity to the competition. And I've had to really help people to understand, first off, that it's not true, that it doesn't blow up. And in fact, now Oki is doing the very thing that they said couldn't be done, which is they took the 831 TS and they made it the 8432, and they now just put white toner, which they said couldn't do because it's going to blow up. Well, it didn't blow up, and it's not going to blow up. And anyway, so that was a great disappointment to me. Again, if you have competition out there, that's good for the industry as a whole. Yeah. And supposedly where the real money is in the media and in the toner cartridges. So why would you hurt the industry? And I want to say one other thing, Aaron, because I was talking to you about this years ago, that when the 610 was being sold.
Okay.
And I was offering it in my group, and they were saying, "Oh, there's no help for those 610 people. You're out on a limb, buddy, because there's no warranty, there's no nothing." And I said, "Well, that's not true." And so I had to battle that, and I actually had you write a letter. Do you remember that?
I do.
And then you sent it back to me, and they said, "No, it's not under warranty." But Oki Data said, "Oh, it is under warranty." And those are the kind of things that, for me, that is real important to me in my groups, is the truth, whatever the truth is. And the truth is that Oki is a really good printer. It's a great engine. It's a good printer. But so is the iColor. The difference is the iColor does so much more than the Oki does, that, like 5 times more than what the Oki does. Yeah. So for about the same price. And so anyway, that's probably been one of my biggest pet peeves.
Gotcha. Well, we'll get that myth dispelled. That's good. So it's out in the public now.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Cheryl. So you mentioned in that conversation there, the papers and the medias, and I cut you off earlier on that, but I'm ready to get to that now, because I think this is a nice piece in and of itself, and I think, like you said, this can be one of the most challenging areas for folks with toner transfer, is that paper selection. So maybe give us your rundown. You said, there's good, better, best, kind of thing, and kind of just give us the whole rundown there.
Yeah. Well, as an individual, I have my own preferences. And I'm always amazed at when people have, they'll say, image, what is it called, Aaron?
Image clip?
Image dark. Yeah, image clip dark.
Laser dark, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that paper, and I just never got along with it. It didn't get along with me. And because I got inconsistent results. Well, then I discovered Forever, and I was like, oh my God, this is heavenly. And Forever Laser Low Temp. It's an amazing paper, but it's also probably twice as much as the Image Clip Dark. Mm-hmm. And so, you start going into a more expensive paper. Then Uninet has my favorite paper, which is the premium 2-step paper, and that has the softest feel, hand feel, that you're like, wow, this is amazing. But it's not really good for real stretchy shirts. It's, and one other thing that I do want to say about paper, about all of them, is that you're going to have, over time, cracking. That's really the bottom line. You're gonna have it. But this is what I've done, and it works. Okay. I've washed. I've taken shirts that look like they're starting to crack, and it doesn't look. And I've washed them, 20 times, 30 times. I wanna be able to tell people with confidence about a paper that I'm using. And one of the things that I do that works like magic is to repress it. I take a Teflon sheet or parchment paper, and I repress it just for, like 20 seconds. And I'm telling you, it looks like it's brand new. So, yeah. So I tell my customers that. I tell them, listen, And because you can do it with an iron, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a heat press. You just take it, you take some parchment paper, and you press it, and I'm telling you, it'll look like it's brand new.
That's awesome.
So
great tip.
that's a good tip for somebody who wants to get into this business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have some tips on the hard surface papers? Which do you like there?
Oh my gosh!
Really going to put you on the spot here.
I'm in love with these papers. First off, I wish I could have found my. I'm in love with these new metallic papers that Uninet has for hard surface. It's bronze and gold and silver, and oh my God, on mugs they are amazing. And on wine glasses, forget it. They're gorgeous. They are just absolutely gorgeous. So I'm in love with those. And then they also have this premium hard surface paper that works almost on anything. It's kind of, to me, it's pretty inexpensive, and I love it. Again, I love hard surface stuff, so I try it on anything and everything I can get my hands on just to see if I could do it, and I can do it. So, again, I was trying to grab stuff really quick, to show. But, again, like this. I mean, this is pretty, when you look at that, you can do stuff, really. If it, the bottom line is if it can take heat, you can do it. The other thing that I love to press with hard surface paper is leather. I made leather purses. Oh my gosh, gorgeous. Actually, there's a company in New York City that sells their purses that they use with heat transfer paper. That sells for like $500, $600, $700.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't tell my wife about that.
Gorgeous. Like they put like the city's pictures on it, and oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. It's really cool stuff. Yeah.
Cheryl, I just wish you could get more excited about what you do for a living.
I know, right?
Hey, Cheryl, we've got a quick question in here.
I just want to say this. I say this all the time. I love what I get to do.
Absolutely. She's got a passion for it, and that's why we've got along so well for so many years. Hey, Cheryl, we do have a question in the chat for you here. It's from Jan. It says, Cheryl, for mugs and glasses, do you use wraps in an oven or a mug press?
I do. I've tried the mug press, and I got inconsistent results. So when I use my convection oven with the wraps, they come out perfect every single time.
That's
awesome.
a great question.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, really good question. Yeah.
Well, Cheryl, the industry is growing, and you being a big part of that with your groups on Facebook. But we're seeing new developments. What do you see though? What's the future of toner transfers? What's exciting on the horizon that you're seeing?
Well, if I could just give a little plug here.
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay, too. Well, Condi to me is one of the companies that's on the cutting edge of, David Gross is always going out and getting stuff. I feel the exact same way about Uninet Imaging. They are on the cutting edge. They are constantly bringing in new stuff like sublimation toner. It's amazing, and I have it, playing with it. I'm actually waiting for my black toner right now, but I got to tell you, it's amazing, and especially on material. It's like, oh my God, the colors are vibrant. So I'm going to say that, people need to, the fluorescent toners too. They're gorgeous. They're amazing. So I would say that the papers, that's the other thing. Be looking for papers that I know that they have a new glitter paper. And the cool thing about, and I didn't say this and I want to say this, but one of the coolest things that happens with heat transfers is that you no longer have weeding. Just like with sublimation, there's no more weeding. That painful weeding that we did for hours and hours and hours, you don't have that anymore. You just literally, it is self-weeding. You just pull it off and voila, you have the magic there, all the different colors that you want. It's a industry that I definitely believe is growing, and it's a necessary, needed part because it's not as expensive as DTG. It's in between, and it's certainly not as inexpensive as vinyl, but you can't do with vinyl what you can with this. And so, and the papers range, from probably like 50 cents, but that would be a real cheap paper that I wouldn't recommend. To all the way up to $7 for 11 by 17 paper, or whatever. So there's everything in between that, and I think the best thing you can do is get a sample pack of them and start working with them, and get online, look at what they're suggesting, the times, the temps, the peel, try it, make sure you have a good heat press. Get yourself a heat gun and test even if you do have a good heat press, make sure that you test your platens, make sure that you're getting the actual temp that you think you're getting. A lot of times, I know I've had to have mine calibrated a couple of times. It's not a big deal. You just call them up and they walk you through it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Well, Cheryl, this has been really awesome. A ton of fantastic information. Tell us a little bit more about where people can find you. I know we talked about your two groups, and now last time I talked, you had a waiting list for the groups. So I know you're busy, and well, that's what I think. People love about your groups is that you do manage it, and you do, keep the riffraff out, so to speak, and you guys have quality conversations in there, not just a bunch of trolls and stuff like that.
No haters.
Well, we might have a couple of those, but they don't really.
It is the internet.
Yeah, I definitely don't allow any drama, all that stuff. I don't have time for any of that, and we really don't have that, and thank God. But I do think right now I have like 7,200 people waiting. I have people literally do a private message. Please, could you let me in? And so I'm like, okay, so when did you ask to get in? A week ago. Well, a week ago, now there's 500 or 600 or 700 people now ahead of you that asked. Because it really grows that fast. I can add 200 people, and I'm going to have 300 or 400 more asking. But again, I want that quality group. And so it's Sublimation for Beginners and Beyond, and Sublimation Oki Eye Color, and Beyond. And both of those groups get great discounts. A lot of partners, I partner with the vendors like Condi, Uninet, Coastal. I'm actually looking at a couple more, but LRI, Maryland, China. So, and we get great discounts from them. Sublisource.
Awesome.
One of my favorite things, if I could really put in a plug here, is Pick the Gift. So, awesome. Now, I really would like to talk about this for just a second, and Aaron did not ask me, nor did anybody ask me. But the thing that excites me about Pick the Gift, and I'm telling you, I mean, my brain just like, there's so much you can do with this, because you literally could start a business with Pick the Gift, not having put out any money for equipment. I mean, if you had $500, $200, you could start a business, because you could contact Aaron. And if you put that you're part of my group, you actually, in the wholesale, you actually get a really nice discount. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but
Yeah, that's all right. No.
anyway, so I mean, and I'm thankful for the partnerships. I really am. And anyway, so you literally could start a business without having to put out any money, get the items in, put them on your Facebook page, start selling them, and they give you, I don't know if that's for everybody. Is it everybody that gets the credit, Aaron?
You guys got a deal, but we help people out, absolutely.
Okay. So I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. So just
get
come
into our
join my group. Yeah.
Wait in line and don't stop.
Private message me and tell me you heard me on this and you want to get in the group, and I'll let you in. And
all right.
anyway, but this thing to me, Pick the Gift, is a gift. I mean, it truly is. And the first time I did a live Facebook Live with Aaron, I said something about it being a love story, because the truth is, if you want to do this business, it doesn't take much. I spent $5,000 when I started, and it wasn't even for a business. I was just thinking maybe I could make the money back. Well, I did. And you would, I can assure you, if you have $200, you can make the money back very fast by selling this stuff. It's truly amazing. And Pick the Gift is such a great partner. They do incredible work. They really do. And if you have issues, you just contact Aaron.
You know where to find me every Friday morning.
That's exactly right. No, they're wonderful to work with. And so I just, that's one of my favorite things I want to do. I really want to help people to succeed in this industry. And I think that that's a great platform to start on. I really do, to get them to build a business.
So I know you've got some other activities coming up here soon. In fact, this afternoon, you've got a show. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, every Friday, usually around 4, but today it'll be 4:30. I have a Facebook Live with David Gross and usually Sprite. She's sick today, so she's not going to be a part of it. But anyway, so we love it. That's one of our favorite things. But we had Jimmy Lamb on Wednesday. He's always a hoot, always.
Yep.
And we have some other guests coming up, like Aaron Montgomery.
Yeah.
And then we actually have Coastal will be, I think it's on the 24th, maybe. What day are you, Aaron? Do you know?
I thought it was the 3rd of May, but
okay, it could be. Yeah. And then we have Uninet.
Cool.
Yeah, we have Uninet that's going to be here the end of this month. So we have a lot. Terry, I'm going to have to get you in there.
So too. That'd be the only person that wasn't being named.
Yeah, you felt left out. Should I just?
Yeah, I know. So I felt bad. I needed to.
Well, Cheryl, we'll get links to this stuff up in our show notes and
awesome.
stuff.
Awesome.
We really appreciate your time today. What a bunch of great information, and thanks for coming.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was so much fun. You guys are always fun. And Terry, now you know who I am.
Exactly.
There we go.
For now and forever. Exactly.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, Cheryl.
Well, have
All
a
right,
great day,
thank you.
Cheryl.
You too.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Well, Aaron, great show. And I think now it's time for us to hear a word from our longtime sponsor, Equipment Zone. Our show today is sponsored by Equipment Zone. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000 direct-to-garment printer. Equipment Zone is the only Epson reseller who sends a technician to every customer location for training. This is an absolutely free visit to your location. Equipment Zone is also the manufacturer of the #1 pre-treat machine in the industry, the SpeedTreater TX. With no compressor and no special tanks, the SpeedTreater TX is the easiest and most consistent pre-treat machine available worldwide. Go to equipmentzone.com for the Epson F2000, the SpeedTreater TX, and for all your DTG inks and supplies. That's equipmentzone.com. That's equipmentzone.com. All right, and Aaron, I want to throw a quick note in here. I see a lot of questions on the internet about the new F2100 printer from Epson, and is it shipping? Is it not shipping? Equipment Zone has been shipping the F2100 since the last week in March, so those machines are going out. And Aaron, I don't even think I told you about this yet. Here's a surprise for you. Equipment Zone is announcing a brand new and never before offered class by anyone, as far as we know. It's modeled after my 2-day screen printing class. It's going to be the complete direct-to-garment business course. And it's going to be June 2nd and 3rd at Equipment Zone's new showroom in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey, outside New York City. Speakers going to include myself, Dane Clement from Great Dane Graphics, marketing and social media whiz Jay Bassell, Matt Rome from Epson America. This is going to be a nuts and bolts how to use your direct-to-garment printer, but also how to prepare killer graphics, how to sell and market your products. So it's going to be that complete package. Hey, you want to start a direct-to-garment business? It's going to be everything about how to do that. So details are going to be up on the Equipment Zone website in a couple of days. So everybody keep an eye out for that.
Okay, sounds good. We'll keep posting links to that throughout. So definitely get over to equipmentzone.com and check that out, and appreciate their support for a very long time. Terry, a couple quick events coming up here. We haven't really even talked about it much yet, but we're going to be next week over in Chicago. So I've got digital marketing, growing your business with social media and email marketing. That is going to be Friday, April 27th at 12:30 p.m. in DAX Chicagoland. And then you and I will be doing finding new niche markets because you're a digital decorator. And that's right after my seminar at 2:20 p.m. on Friday. And then to keep the whole crew going here, Eric Campbell will be doing the night shift that night, embroidery digitizing, design from concept to completion. Brave man, actually doing live digitizing, and he does it in his sleep basically, so he does it well, but you never can tell what's going to happen with technology, as we've experienced for 6 years on this show. But that's going to be Friday, April 27th at 6 p.m. So I believe there's still a few spots left in that, but Eric can correct us if we're wrong. What about you, Terry? I know you've got some stuff coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the MyDeck seminar in Chicago, Tinley Park. Will be equipment and supplies for the new screen printer, what you need to buy for success. That's going to be Friday morning at 10:20, April 27th. And then you and I will be doing our seminar together. And I'll be leaving for the airport, Aaron, as soon as we're done, heading to Cancun for my son Mike's wedding. And then I'll be back again and to do a few seminars. I'll be doing a seminar in Houston the following week on direct-to-garment, basically an intro to direct-to-garment. Okay. And I'll be doing my all-day free Epson F2000, F2100 seminar on May 10th. That's going to be in Portland, Oregon, the day before the NBM show opens there. And again, as I said, that's a free seminar. My complete screen printing business course with Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago will be June 9th and 10th. And you can find all my events on my website, terrycombs.com, under tour dates. And Aaron, it's time for It's 5 Things, and it's your turn this week.
All right. It's 5 things. We talk about it at the top of the show, and I wanted to share 5 things to be a great networker. And again, not sure if that's the correct term, but I'm using it. I'm taking it. And
cool. Right. What a phrase.
All right. Number 1, build the relationships is more important than selling. So if you're out there networking, go into it with an attitude of, I'm here to build relationships. I don't care if they buy products from me. Number 2, reach out to people you can provide value to without any expectations of reciprocation. Again, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you should be focusing on them, not what this is going to do for you. Number 3, continue to reach out to new contacts regularly without being a pain in the butt. So best way to do that is by making sure you always leave yourself an out at the end of one contact to give yourself an in to contact them again. And again, don't be a pain in the ass or butt or whatever you want to call it.
It's late in the show. Only our regular listeners are here now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Number 4, don't put so much pressure on yourself. I speak from experience. You get it to going to a networking event and you're so worked up before you even get there that you can barely see straight. So go into it with a fun mentality. You can do things, start by doing it online. It should be more just about having conversations and looking at the longer view of things. It shouldn't be, I have to walk into this thing and I have to walk out with 5 sales. All right. Number 5, it's about the other party. Be prepared to ask questions and listen. Well, much too often we get into these situations where we're asking questions to direct and guide, and we're already thinking of the next thing we're going to say, but we never truly listen to the other party. So there are my 5 things, Terry.
It's excellent. And your point number 5, anybody in sales should listen to that. And because if you're talking to someone, they can tell if you're waiting for your turn to talk.
Absolutely. All right, Terry. Well, real quick, one comment here. Eric Campbell, who's now officially our producer, when we talked about his night shift, he said, I will have to open some up. I keep selling out. Folks can contact him directly if you want to go and can't get a spot. So if you go to ericcampbell.com, it's probably the best place to start and contact him. And he must know some people. So
I guess he knows people who know people. And that's erichcampbell.com. You don't want to spell it wrong. That's some other Eric Campbell at the who's not in there. Eric H. Campbell.
Well, Terry, real quick, I guess we haven't done this in a little bit, but I wanted to share some of the upcoming trade shows with folks here, just to kind of give people a good calendar. But, we mentioned DAX Chicagoland coming up April 27th and 28th. You mentioned ISS Houston, May 3rd through the 5th. NBM Portland, May 11th through the 12th. NBM Cleveland, June 15th through the 16th. ASI Chicago, July 25th through the 26th. NBM Long Beach, California, August 2nd through the 4th. You got NNEP Nashville, August 17th through the 18th. NBM Secaucus, New Jersey, August 24th through the 25th. And ISS Orlando, September 6th through the 8th. So that gets you well into towards the end of the year. There are plenty of opportunities to get out there and see some folks. And yeah, sometimes I miss being it, so I'm just going to have to show up at one of these here soon. And
I think I'll be at all those.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Terry. Well, anything else before we close up here?
I think we had a great show today and a lot of really, really great information. So thank to Cheryl for helping us out with that.
Absolutely. So, Terry, we've come to close another show. I'd like to, again, thank our guest, Cheryl Kuchek, for her time, and make sure you go check out her Facebook groups. We'll get links up on the show notes here this weekend. And
yeah, absolutely. And hey, and thank you to our show producer, Eric Campbell with Deco Network, and you can also find him at ericcampbell.com. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, the Specialty Graphic Imaging Association, SGIA, and Equipment Zone. We always appreciate your support.
Absolutely. Terry, on next week's show, we're going to be talking to our show producer, Eric Campbell, talking fulfillment and outsourcing. Since we're going to be on the road that Friday, we're actually going to do a special recording. I thought we were just going to record it, but what the heck? Let's do a Facebook Live that night. So the audio folks will catch this on the regular time on the 27th, but sneak peek next Tuesday night.
Perfect.
At 9:30 Eastern time. And we will endeavor to have a Facebook Live and see how that goes. And
see, we all have surprising news. So Until then, he's Aaron Montgomery. I'm Terry Combs, and we are the Two Regular Guys.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.